You actually talked about that in next episode.
Let me start that just section.
Yeah.
Just going to do that. So Yay, you're here. Welcome to How to Be a Grown-Up with CK and GK. Let's get started.
It's the most wonderful day of the week.
Yeah, guys, it's Tuesday. We're so glad you're here. It's the holiday season, which means it's photo season.
It's the holiday season.
Yes, it is. And if you're like me and you just hate what you look like in photos, which is because I don't know what to do with my body parts. Sometimes my face even looks like it's like unhappy housewife smile where you're like, kind of smiling. These tips are for you. So today we have an article that we're referencing about how to not do weird things with your body in photos.
But first, she turns this gingerbread house into a gingerbread home. It's Caitlin.
Oh, she's my sneakily talented hawk. That's Jenny. Yours are always so sweet in mine. Yeah.
If that was tongue in cheek. Let's be real.
I mean, ew. But thanks.
I didn't say what kind of home. No. So I took a gingerbread decorating class this week.
Because of course you did.
It was the first time I had done a gingerbread house sans kids in 13 years. And so I was proud of it.
You didn't use graham crackers on the side of a milk carton to make it?
No. It was really cool. Like, they had the houses already assembled. You were literally just decorating them. Oh. But I was doing it by myself. I was having so much fun. It was half a dozen women just decorating their gingerbread houses, chit-chatting while we're doing it. And I was so proud of it. I brought it home. Abigail sees it the next morning, and she was like, "You made a gingerbread house without me?" I was like, Yes, no. I did. But don't worry. Kit wasn't there. Nobody was there. It was just me, and it was amazing.
Oh, my gosh. Your audio is doing that staticky thing again.
I have all new equipment. Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay, I won't move.
Okay. Well, I mean, that sounds like fun. Given that I will destroy your home, apparently.
No. Just saying. You warm it right up.
I'll eat it.
Have you seen the ones where people are not happy with their gingerbread house, so they put a toy dinosaur on it?
No, but that's kind of awesome.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, my dinosaur ate my gingerbread house."
Ruined my house.
Smash it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that.
There was one year that Abby did a murder, crime scene house.
God, I love that little girl. Okay.
Yep. Our gingerbread houses also normally have some kind of koi pond in the backyard with goldfish in it.
Ooh, that's a cool idea. I can get into that. I'm down.
Yep.
I don't think most people do that, so that's a nice creative
Also in this
addition.
class, I learned that if you turn an ice cream cone upside down and cover it in green frosting, it's now a tree.
Yes, that one I had seen before. That's a good hack. Does anybody actually eat gingerbread houses?
Oh, well, Kit asked if he could eat, and I said no. It's like, no, this is food that's sat out. No.
That I also touched every bit of and probably rubbed my nose at some point and then touched again.
And I was cutting candy with scissors. I don't even know if those scissors are for food.
Ew. Yuck. And now let's go to the topic that we're talking about today.
We're actually here to do something.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So, again, today I'm telling you to stop doing these 3 things in photos. My source today is a former photographer for Pure Wow. Her name is Marissa Wu. The article is called "I'm a Photographer, and These Are the 3 Things You Should Avoid Doing in Photos." She actually worked at Popular Photography for a while. Also has credits with Southern Living and Martha Stewart. So I was kind of like, wow. All right, this girl at least knows what she's talking about. She knows what she's doing. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so first tip that So on the article, if you look at it, which, and I'll link it, of course, in the blog post for today, you'll see that there's a what to do picture and a what not to do picture.
Oh my gosh, love it.
And the not to do picture cracks me up because the description that she's providing is dead on accurate. Okay. So what she says, the first thing to do is do not lace your fingers together.
Okay. Because
she had a professor who was like, your fingers will look like slugs. And when you see the picture, like, look at my hands right now.
Right? That is interesting.
They look like little, and she also says this applies to solo pictures and couples pictures. Like the couples pictures where you're like, oh, it's so sweet, lace your hands. No, it makes your fingers look gross. And I have very short, stubby fingers, and I have long nails on them because I feel like it makes my fingers look less stubby. And so the last thing I want in my photos is to have sluggy, stubby fingers. It just makes me uncomfortable. Yeah.
I would want to meet the woman who says, I want to have stubby, sluggy fingers in my pictures.
I literally put in the notes, nobody wants to have their fingers look like slugs because that's gross. Like, who wants that? So here's what you do instead. You overlap your fingers like princess hands.
You know, that is actually why Kate Middleton carries a clutch.
Yes, because it means
there's nothing in there. It's not like she has to show her ID somewhere or has car keys. She's holding it so she has something to do with her hands. She holds it with one hand and then holds her hand with the other.
Exactly. So that's the next tip is if you're not going to have anything in your hands and you just overlap them, instead you could put something in your hands so that your hands have a task. So you can hold your blazer lapel because all of us are wearing blazers all the time.
Uh-huh.
You can hold your skirt, like just hold the side. You can rest your hand on the fence that you're standing next to. Or if it's a Christmas photo with family or a holiday photo with family, you put your hand on your child's shoulders. Something with your hands. Hold a beverage. Whatever it is, just put something in your hand.
I have also seen show your accessories.
Oh.
So like put your hand on your earring or grab your bracelet. Play with your necklace. Like do something with what you're wearing.
I like that.
Because it's like natural, and not to bring another princess into it, but Meghan Markle always touches her earring because it makes her turn her face a little bit. So you get a little profile shot.
Yes.
And it has her hand like daintily touching her neck. So she's always like fiddling with her earring for her pictures.
But it also kind of looks like you might be tucking your hair behind your ear or something. So it is a very natural sort of look. It's not just like, let me show you my earring. And
Right. Yeah. No, in your mind, you're saying show off your accessories. In your body, you're actually just touching them somehow.
Right. Exactly.
Or featuring them in your movement.
I like that one. Okay. Second tip.
Does this involve slugs?
No. But it does involve meaty thighs, which I am familiar with. I have those I didn't play soccer for so long that like they're super prominent, but I do have like former soccer player thigh and calf issues. So my legs are meaty. Okay. And I just have meaty thighs. So, don't put all of your weight on your front leg.
Okay.
Now, when you pop one leg, meaning like you bend one knee and you sort of pop the leg out, the goal is to make you have an S sort of curve to your body, right? It's supposed to be more flattering. The problem with doing that is that most people put the weight on the wrong leg. They put the weight on the front leg, the one that's closer to the camera, which just makes it look bigger. So when you do the S thing, the popping thing, you're supposed to put the weight on the back leg.
Okay.
And sort of just like rest your other foot on the ground. If that makes any sense. Like,
yes.
It's almost
my friend who is a photographer.
Yes.
Many years ago, I'm talking like more than a decade, told me whatever is closest to the camera is biggest.
Yes.
So, and she was helping me out by saying like, move your head a little further.
So that you don't have the
so that you don't have like
chin.
Yeah. But that makes sense. If you put all your weight on your front leg, like that front leg is going to look bigger than the rest of your body.
Right. And it already looks bigger than the rest of your body. So then you're like emphasizing it by popping it into the...
You've lost the angle that you were trying to build.
Right.
And instead just turned your leg into an elephant leg.
Right. Exactly. It's not an S anymore. It's now just a
tree
column.
Trunk.
Right.
Yeah, tree trunk. Okay,
So,
got it.
Right. So
what do I do instead?
Instead, you're going to reverse the weight. You put your weight on the back leg and pop the front leg, because when you do that, you're going to slim out the front one a little bit more. So the same thing applies when you cross your legs. If you're sitting in a picture, the leg that is close to the camera should be crossed over the leg that's further away. So you want to make sure that whatever weight you're putting in, you put it in the one that's further away from the camera, just to emphasize, one, proportionality, and two, like S and not tree trunk, right? Like that's what we're doing. So shift that weight to the back leg. Okay, the last one. This is where it's one thing. I'm already awkward enough with my
I have
hands.
an image of tree trunk. Like, I can't take that out of my head.
Well, you gave me elephant legs, so that's where my brain is, right? This is probably the one that's hardest for me. Hands I can handle, but arms I
you
really
can handle.
With. I can. Yeah, very, very.
Sorry.
Funny. Yeah, no, I got you.
It's early.
Arms are where I really
my
struggle.
first cup of coffee.
Where I'm like, arms down, arms off to the like what arms? What
right, and you can't do the teacup anymore because it's like not 2004.
Except you can. Okay, so here's
my
the
sister
deal.
calls it the skinny arm.
I'm going for it. I don't care.
Yeah.
We just talked about how we need to make things look slimmer in the picture. I'm gonna do a skinny arm. It's fine.
So tell us how to do it naturally to where we don't look like we're taking a picture in our college sorority.
Okay, so she says to the former sorority girl. Okay, so here's what you don't do. You don't push your arms.
Oh my gosh! I just looked at the notes, and you literally used the word teapot.
Yes.
I didn't even see that. That's just what I've called it. That's hilarious. Okay, continue on.
So you don't push your arms into your sides. So like arms straight down makes everything look wider.
Right.
It just the line that Marissa Wu, the author, uses is no matter how pretty someone is, their arm will still look bad according to cultural beauty standards, splayed out and flat like roadkill against their torso.
Ew.
I was like, that is what sold me on this article, is that line right there, because that's so real to say something like roadkill and have it published on a website, because that's exactly what all of us are thinking, right? Like we're all like,
especially if you're not wearing sleeves, it's like really not flattering.
Oh, it's not flattering at all. No, you can't have it. So here's what you do. All right, you teapot yourself.
Okay.
And she says the teapot pose may live in Y2K infamy, and she's not wrong, but if you have no other ideas, it does work. So you might as well go for it. Okay. What that means is you have, like, you pretend, I'm a little teapot. You have your arms sort of teapotted, bent so that your elbow is out and your hand is in towards your waist. Okay. So it looks like you're making a triangle with your arm up against your body. Okay.
Right.
She also says you can level it up with what this Pure Wow beauty director named Jenny Jin, whose articles we've also featured on this show, calls the raptor pose. And now this is not like pretend you're a T-Rex. This is not
I kind
because
of
that is where my brain
though.
went. Okay. But she calls them
princess. Both of us have sons. Of course we went to dinosaur.
Right. Well, and we just got off of a Disney cruise, so my brain also went Toy Story, like with the dinosaur creature.
Oh, yes.
Right. Like, yeah. So isn't that the voice of the guy from Princess Bride? Isn't that the same dude?
Oh, yeah.
It's got to be, right? Okay.
It's inconceivable that it wouldn't be.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So you hold your hands in front of you like you're holding a purse, and then you put your elbows out away. So like
right, because you're not holding the purse as the length of your arms. You're holding it like at your belt buckle.
Right.
Which makes your arms bend to give you an angle.
Right. And then you unnaturally probably force them outward a little bit.
Right.
So it's not.
It also straightens out your shoulders a little bit.
It does.
Look, I'm doing it right now. And I mean, obviously you can't look. This is an audio only format. But as I do that, I can feel my whole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the way that I kind of think of it is anytime we're going for like having a body and then arms. We're not trying to have like body arms. Right? It's like we talk about like cankles. You want to have definition between the two things. So when your arms are smooshed up against your body, it just looks like body with some hands hanging off the side. But if you create some space, Jenny's looking at me.
I'm dying. I'm like imagining a toddler drawing with like just hands coming out the side.
right? It's like,
Body arms.
Body arms. As I lovingly referred to my butt and thigh to my friend Amanda, it's my bi, right? Like, it's all one thing, and they're supposed to be distinct. So if your arms are not distinct from the rest of your body, your barms, you look ridiculous. So you need to separate. So that's why teapot arms work, because you're creating space and separation between the arm and the rest of your body.
Yes.
You're removing the barms and turning it into
I also like the like hands on each other's shoulders. Again, that like opens you up, so you can like put your hands on the people near you.
I typically demand to be in the middle of group photos, because then I can put my arms behind people.
Right.
And I don't have...
It opens you up.
Right. But I also don't have to think about what I'm doing with my hands. But that doesn't always work when you have 3 sisters, and one of whom is very insistent on only taking pictures on one side of her body. Actually, I have 2 of them who do that. So it's very difficult to make that happen.
It's too bad that it's not the different side. Because then you could just be in the middle.
It's the same. No, it's
right.
Not.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
I also like the move of sticking one hand up in the air.
Yes, you do that a lot.
Share.
Yes. But also,
but again, it elongates me.
It elongates, but it lends itself to that S shape, right? As long as you're putting your weight on the back leg, it lends itself to that S shape. So,
you got to be ready to do that, because that owns the photo.
You do, yeah. It has to be a special level of look at me. Right. Like, that's what that photo is.
That is what that is.
It is a look at me photo. Okay. So the 3 things we're not going to do. We're not going to lace our fingers together. We're not going to put all the weight on our front leg and make it look like a tree trunk. And we're not going to put arms into sides and create barms. Okay. Got it. All right. Let's take a break. For links to resources mentioned in this episode, head on over to ckandgkpodcast.com/blog to find everything you need. And be sure to follow us on social media. Head over to your favorite social media network and find us at CKNGK Podcast. And now, back to the show.
All right, so now we're back. Let me tell you what I am obsessed with.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
It is the time of year where we are having all of the parties.
Yeah, that's why we did that's why we did the thing about photos.
Right. Exactly. So what I'm obsessed with right now, minute to win it games.
Oh,
it's like
all the
what
ones
I bring to a party now. Yeah.
Yeah. Those
so
are fun.
Instead of saying like, oh, I'll bring a cheese plate, like something that takes work, I'm like, oh, I'll bring a game. And so my favorite one right now is the only thing you need is a dozen candy canes.
Okay.
But you need a dozen per team.
Okay. Those are easy though. Those like what, $2 a box?
Really easy.
Yeah.
And they're right? So one person puts the candy cane in their mouth with the hook out. And everyone else spreads the candy canes, the 11 remaining, on the floor. And that person has to hook them and collect them. The person the team that gets their 11 picked up fastest wins.
That's hysterical.
It's amazing.
I saw one that was big marshmallows on a table, and you put your kids' hands in red Solo cups, and they have to pick them. Those are just, that's amazing. Those are so
there's tons of them out there. I think we have talked about them on the show before, but to me, it's like, it's the easiest thing to bring to a party. It's also not a 30-minute game that people are like, okay, we're over this. Like, and there's some that are messy, like how fast can you wrap your friend?
But that's, I don't like
but
that one.
it's also fun,
wasteful.
right?
Yeah,
and it just costs a roll of wrapping paper and tape. But they're fun, and they don't take up much time. They don't cost a lot of money, and it gets you off the hook for having to cook.
There's also like something uniquely bonding about those activities because they're funny. Like we've talked about this before. Right. Anytime you laugh together, it doesn't need to be a long game. It just needs to be funny. So I think that's
you do not need any athletic ability to be talented at these games.
That's the other. I wish that when people are doing, excuse me, like professional development games that are like meant to be bonding, you would, if you focused on laughing as opposed to sharing, you would bond people a lot faster. I don't get why that's not a thing, but
if I have to make one more spaghetti and marshmallow tower, I swear. No,
those are awful.
Of that.
Like,
It
no
is
more
awful.
STEM challenges. Just make me laugh.
No, make me laugh.
Make me laugh at that
Have me do something completely and totally ridiculous. I loved this game. It was done in about 12 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
The fastest kid was incredible. We were like, why are you good at this? Oh, there was another one that I played recently where everybody had tiny, like the fun size M&Ms.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. And then there are cards in the colors of M&Ms.
Okay.
And so you open your bag when they say go, and you have to sort them onto the colors.
Oh, dear.
And everyone on your team has to get their bag sorted to be done.
Oh, gosh.
But everyone's sorting at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, it happens in like 20 seconds. Everybody's done. And people are frantically moving M&Ms around the table. Red, orange. I got brown.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I could see middle schoolers turning this into an
Well,
opportunity
we
to
played it
throw
with middle
up-
schoolers,
throw
and then
out
they
M&Ms.
ate the M&Ms, which I thought was disgusting.
Yeah.
I was like, you guys, everyone has touched these at the table.
Yeah, can we wash hands before we do this game? It's a little gross. Okay, well.
Okay, sorry,
Whatever.
that's my obsession. What's yours?
Okay, well, speaking of laughing, I don't know how often the Muppet Christmas Carol appears in your Christmas movie lineup, but it needs to be
Yearly.
all the time because I've watched it twice already this season. That's nothing compared to how many times we've already watched Home Alone, which is like 12. But it is hysterical, and one of my favorite things in this world is Muppets acting like regular adults and breaking character and or having bloopers. Like,
Right.
Unhinged Elmo, when he breaks the fourth wall and like cannot handle Zoe talking about Rocco, is one of my most like, I will cry laughing every time. It's so good. So not only am I obsessed with Muppet Christmas Carol, but I also found an Instagram reel of Muppet Christmas Carol bloopers.
I am all about it. You know I love the Muppets.
Yes, I do know you love
I
them.
love the Muppets. And when we were on this trip, that we should probably recap.
We should recap at some point, yeah.
There was one of the things that you could do is solve a Muppet mystery. And there was a little girl solving the missing 101 Dalmatian puppy mystery.
Oh, that's
And
cute.
so it uses the same technology, but like depending on what mystery you're doing is what the screen plays for you, right?
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
You sign up, okay, I'm doing the Muppets. But we were at the same station and she was waiting to do the puppies
puppy
and
one.
we were doing the Muppets. And she was like, what is that? And I looked at her parents in disgust. And I was like, what do you mean your kid doesn't know what the
Ew,
Muppets are?
judgy wudgy.
No, I didn't. So I'm telling her, like, these are the Muppets. They were created by a magical man named Jim Henson. And I'm like giving her the whole story and I'm like pointing to each of the Muppets on the sheet. And I was like, this one is Miss Piggy. She's the prettiest Muppet, but she's not the nicest one. And
She's like Daisy Duck. She's a diva, but even sassier.
it was too funny. I'm like exploring this whole Muppet world with her while we're waiting for, a 30-second video clip to play for the team in front of us. And her parents just kind of look at me like, who is this crazy Muppet lady? And why is she talking to my kids?
First of all, if you're feeling that way about other adults on a Disney cruise talking to your kid, then you need to go somewhere. Second of all, make your kid watch some Muppet Christmas Carol.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
It's so
Rizzo
good.
the rat steals the show.
Oh yeah, like the
He's
lamp,
my
not the
favorite
rat.
Muppet for sure.
Oh yeah, I do love the Swedish Chef guy because he's just so ridiculous.
Yes.
Anyway, so in this blooper, this one particular one, the Ghost of Christmas Present, this massive Muppet who's probably got a person inside of him because he's so big.
Oh, sure.
They're walking the streets of London with Michael Caine, of all people. And at one point he gestures wildly and hits Michael Caine in the face. It brought tears to my eyes because Michael Caine's like trying not to break character, but he does like just
get hit
a little bit. It's so good. And Sam has been anti until this year where I was like, no, we are watching this together because it's funny. And I think the cruise sort of helped that a little bit because he knows who they are now. But it's making me laugh and it's bringing joy to my heart. It's like it's a good Christmas story. And then you add to it, like anytime there's jokes for adults, it's just going to make it that much more entertaining.
That's one of the things that's great about the Muppets is that it definitely meets everyone.
Yes. Meets everyone's needs. It's good for everybody. Yeah.
So in Muppet News, did you hear that they are rebranding the Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster to be the Muppets Rock and Roller Coaster?
I did not know that, but Animal should be featured heavily on that just to bridge that.
It's going to be the Electric Mayhem, the whole band.
Yes.
It's going to be good.
Awesome.
It's going to be really good. Now, the sad part about that is they're closing Muppets 3D.
Oh, no.
And guys, that was like one of the best places to sit in air conditioning in the middle of the day. You have to wait for the show. Then the show's 25 minutes long. Like it was a really good break.
Oof. Yeah.
So you'll have to do the Frozen sing along, but
that's okay. I don't mind singing along with Frozen. So good.
Yeah. And the rumor is that while they're closing it, they are trying to find a way to put it somewhere else because they do know that it's a fan favorite. And Pizza Rizzo is closing. It's Rat Pizza.
What does he say in that movie? It's like, my mom told me never to eat singing food.
Yeah.
Like what? Like what? Okay.
All right. So gem of the week. Abigail is trying to bake something, and all of the measurements are in large quantities for like it's like a legit baker's recipe.
Okay.
Right. So everything is measured in weight.
Yes.
Or volume instead of like item. So instead of like a cup of flour, you need 300 grams of flour, whatever. Well, we have a food scale, so it's fine. But the eggs are measured 800 milliliters of eggs.
Oh, gosh.
It's like, I don't even know.
Right.
I
just put the thing on the scale and start counting.
No, we have to like measure the volume of an egg.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't do that. Because that would have been smart. So instead I start Googling how many eggs in 800 milliliters. I'm like, someone somewhere got a flag that someone Googled this.
Yeah. And what's the answer? Do you know?
It's between 14 and 17.
That's
depending
a lot
on the size of the eggs. And it's a lot of eggs. But it's making a mousse.
Okay. But that's a lot of mousse, too.
Mm-hmm. It's a filling.
Oh, okay. Understood.
Yeah, she's making a U-log.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah, I was like, excuse me, what?
Yeah.
800 milliliters of eggs?
So
Who is measuring their eggs in milliliters? I am measuring them in each.
Right. And like,
or
do you need to
dozen.
go get a carton? Like, just go get one of those like liquid eggs cartons? Right. Ugh, gross. Okay. Mine is instinctively, when someone puts their finger in my face, I try to bite it. It's just a thing.
It's like if you put your hand over my mouth to make me stop talking, I'm going to lick you.
I'm going to lick it. Right. It's just, So Sam's thing is to put his finger near my mouth and watch me try to bite it. And he says the other day, he says to my father-in-law, Cappy, my mom bites. And he... It's his thing is to like tell people that I bite like a dog, like careful, she bites, right? Like, so he's like, Kevin,
that's a good thing for people to know about you.
It is. I agree. And then at one point he did stick his finger in my mouth. I did bite it, and then he goes, "Stop it! Let go of me. I'm not a bagel." It made me laugh. So I instinctively let go. Otherwise, I would have held on to that finger. But I was like,
"That's your go-to
bagel? Like what?
That's the thing I bite the most."
Apparently, I do like bagels, but also I did not expect.
They're chewy.
I'm not a. He doesn't eat bagels. Where would that come from? But I'm not a bagel. Okay. So, two things we learned there. One, he thinks I eat them a lot, and two, I bite. So, don't stick your finger in my face. FYI.
I think you need a shirt that just says "I bite."
I probably do. I probably do need that shirt. I think that's a good one. Speaking of. Don't bite people. Yeah?
Yeah.
Make good choices.
Make good choices.
Don't stick your finger in my face. And no slug fingers.
Yeah. Or we'll bite them.
Or barms. Or no slug fingers. Yeah. I don't bite slug fingers. Gross. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Hey friends, thanks for listening to the CK and GK podcast. Find us at CK and GK podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or anywhere else that you pod. See you next time.